10 things I learned about Silksong from the 10-page Team Cherry interview featured in A Profound Waste of Time magazine, issue 2. A Profound Waste of Time is an independent magazine dedicated to video games, filled to the brim with fascinating articles and interviews and stunning illustrations. The team behind the magazine clearly pays special attention to the design throughout, which is quite rare in a sea of insert any main character from the video game with a title laid over it. These magazines are so beautiful that they're honestly worth buying as a collector's item. Unfortunately, they're limited run, and usually through Kickstarter, and reprints are rare. I don't want to give too much away, but you guys know that I will absolutely consume every crumb of information we can get from Team Cherry, and there are definitely people who won't be able to pick up a copy for themselves. Now, before we get started, I want to dedicate this video to the 33-year-old man in the Silksong Discord server who reminded me that girls' brains are different, and I should instead be playing mobile games because they're, in his words, extremely easy to play. Moving swiftly on, this specific issue released in 2020, and Amanda Yo speaks to Ari Gibson and William Pellin about our favourite Metroidvania, a true cult classic, Hollow Knight. And also where to get pastries in Australia. No, for real, the entire article starts with recommendations in Melbourne and Adelaide. Then it starts to make sense as Ari points out that the frequency in which he can indulge in his favourite croissants has increased with the game's success. That's kind of adorable. If you're somehow not aware, Team Cherry have proved time and time again that they are passionate about the games they produce and worlds they create. We know Silksong won't release until it's ready, and whilst that line alone, when it's ready, has become a meme in the gaming community, I have full confidence that Team Cherry genuinely mean it. Right, intro done, time for the things I learnt about Silksong. Number 1, for Team Cherry, apparently there haven't been many significant differences working on Hollow Knight and Silksong. Ari says it almost feels like making the same game in that way, which is nice actually, followed by William describing it as one continuous project with 2 products. Apparently they had also envisioned an adventure for Hornet before the planning for the first game had barely begun. It seems they'd already decided on Hornet travelling to a new kingdom, which is why it made sense to separate it to another game. Now that's new information to me because I did wonder if the Hornet DLC had originated as a Hallownest story or its own story. They also had technical issues with her height because she apparently does not fit in a lot of spaces in the first game. Finally, a win for the short people, and they've clearly not played the mod with the big heads. Number 2, Team Cherry believe it's the little stories which dress the skeleton in flesh and bring it to life. Absolutely accurate, their little plot points layered on top of each other connected to one big overarching story is a big reason why the game is so popular. At least in my household, where I live alone. But this does go to show that they are putting the same creativity and care into Silksong. Number 3, Team Cherry were adding lore on the fly in Hollow Knight. For example, Cloth's original name was Burlap, but that was changed due to the low availability of those kinds of clothing materials. However, silk exists in their world along with silkworms, and this is a really weird way for me to find out that you make silk by boiling silkworms alive in their cocoons. Silksong is starting to sound kinda dark. Oh, and here's an important bit. Hornet has a cloak which is related to her character. I shouldn't say too much, but it's related to the fact her skills and combat abilities have like a seamstress-like quality, stitching and weaving. Number 4, Hornet is, and I quote, actually either a spider or related to spiders or spider-like. I think we already knew that though. I'm sure there's a smart connection to be made between perhaps a silkworm colony, silk cloak that was crafted by the seamstresses and at some point given to Hornet, why Hornet opts for clothing whilst most inhabitants do not, her needle, her role in the weavers, and there's also the bugs with the scissors from the trailer, and we've got to link it all back to the bells too. I'll have a think when I'm running on more sleep. Number 5, there is a meaning to Hornet's name, and they specifically stay quiet on that meaning, and seem undecided about whether or not we'll learn it in Silksong. Number 6, they also intentionally don't give anything away about where Silksong fits in chronologically. I've seen a number of theories about this, and maybe that would make a good topic for a video, but we can explore that later. Number 7, Silksong is not just a collection of things they didn't include in the first game. Oh no, everything they wanted to get into Hollow Knight got into the game. Silksong would be based entirely on Hornet's character and her own adventure. Number 8, now I'm sure we already know this, but Ari and William are not social media users. They know we're excited, but remain entirely unaware of the fans' internet conversations. They even quoted a few Reddit users in the article, which is rather brave. Number 9, one of the benefits of not planning too far ahead is that you constantly have small versions of that cycle, is a direct quote. They don't plan everything in one go and then just execute it. They keep it fluid and flexible for a reason. That reason being it helps their creative juices flow and it's more motivating for them this way. Also why they keep the team small, you know, less pushback on these random changes or additions. Number 10, they touch on Hornet's ever so recognizable voice and discuss the challenges that come with a main character who can voice their own feelings, objectives, and ask questions. I am very much looking forward to more iconic Hornet voice lines. Alright, that's everything. Please go buy the magazine, and I hope to see you in my next video where I will be exclusively reporting on Candy Crush lore. See ya!